Hi guys, I'm Francis, and this is going to be a short little 15-minute yoga class. We're just going to focus on some nice isometric stretches you can do. We're going to really focus on the hips, and let's get started. So when you're doing these poses, you should hold them anywhere from a minute to 5, a little shorter if you're going to be doing it before a workout, a little bit longer if you're doing it after. So we're going to start with a child's pose. So we're going to have our knees wide, our toes touching, hips right back down onto the heels, and you're just going to slowly let your hands crawl forward. Maybe your forehead comes down to the mat. If that's not comfortable for you, you can make a pillow, placing one hand right on top of the other. And just take some nice, easy breaths here. If you like, you can roll your forehead side to side a little. If you like a little more sensation in this pose, you can add in your shoulders. So by reaching your hands forward, letting your chest and your forehead melt toward the mat, you can bring your hands together, the palms touching, and slowly bring your hands up. Bring your thumbs to touch right behind the back of your neck. Now, whichever version of the pose you're in, you should feel, as time goes, your hips sinking a little further back, feeling your back lengthen a little. So try not to hunch your back. Try to lengthen as long as you can, still allowing your hips to fall back. From here, you're going to keep your knees wide, and you're going to slowly bring yourself forward till your hips are about in line with your knees. Now, this is personal. It is your practice, so find a spot that's comfortable for you. Maybe it's a little forward, maybe it's a little more back. But you're just going to slowly stay here on your forearms, and maybe you melt a little lower. Now, the idea of this is to keep your knees in line with your hips and try to get them as wide as you can, working on opening up those abductors, stretching out those adductors. Now, this is a lot on the knees if you're on a mat. So if you're on carpet, then that's great. A lot of people like to turn sideways just to make sure that their knees are specifically on the mat. This is also great because you can have your knees at the edge of the mat, and you can see that if your hips are in line with them or not. If this is still a lot on your knees and you're on a mat, you can always get something, a towel, a pillow even, to place under where your knees are and slowly sink down. And just like in child's pose, taking deep breaths in and out. Maybe as time goes, you widen a little. So, staying here, perfectly fine. This is an awesome frog pose. If you can go lower, you can go lower, sinking your chest as well as your forehead back down to the mat. You just want to be mindful of your body, checking in that you're not putting increased pressure or a lot of stress onto your low back. That is an added bonus, that stretch right here, but The focus right here is the hips. So, hold this for as long as you'd like. After this pose, we're going to transition into out of frog pose into a bullfrog pose. So, side view. From your frog pose, slowly shift forward. Elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Knees are still wide. Toes touching. And hips still wide open. So your hips are down on the mat now. You want to stare at a spot roughly a foot in front of your fingers, just so that you have a nice long back and that you're extending the spine. You're not jumping into the low back. You're not letting your shoulders come up to your ears. Slightly active, and you should still feel that nice opening in the hips. If you want more opening in the hips, instead of toes touching, have your heels touch, flex your feet, and point them out. Now, it's a little less strenuous if you bring your feet closer to your hips. The lower you bring them, the more of an immediate sensation you're going to get onto your hips. And just breathe, maybe with each breath in, just going back a little bit, with each breath out, breath out, seeing if you can go a little deeper into the pose. So you're going to hold bullfrog for a minute or two, or longer or shorter, whatever you feel like. And then you're slowly going to bring your knees together. And you're going to do a quick reset here. So, top of the feet on the floor, one hand on top of the other, laying your forehead down, finding a prone savasana. So hold this for a little bit. Feel how your hips are pressing into the mat now. See if you can feel any difference from the stretches you've done. And then we're going to slowly come back to our Sphinx pose with our elbows right underneath our shoulders, gazing roughly a foot in front of my fingertips. And just breathing. Once more, not dumping, not allowing your shoulders to raise up, lifting your chest, not jumping into the low back, instead a nice long spine. From here, if you'd like a little more sensation, your hands right now are in a shape 11 parallel to each other. From where they are, adjust your fingertips toward the corners of your mat or out diagonal if you're not on a mat. Once more, perfectly fine. Place them out diagonally and just straighten your hands to find your seal pose. Still staring at a spot a little in front of your fingers. Slowly lower yourself down. You're going to take another quick reset here. Maybe switch which hand's on top. From here, you're just going to take your left hand, put it straight out, we're going to be taking an open wing pose. So with your left hand straight out from the shoulder joint, you're going to place your right hand palm down onto the mat. Slowly roll over onto your left side. Right foot is going to put the sole of the foot on the floor. And you're just going to put in some light pressure onto your left shoulder. Now that's a wonderful part about your right hand being on the mat. You can let yourself fold forward if that's too much. You can press it on the mat a little more if you need a little more sensation here. And then when you're done, slowly roll back to face down. The right hand is going to extend straight up from the shoulder joint. You're going to roll onto your right side. Left foot, sole of the foot on the floor. Just adding a little shoulder stretch into this. The hips and the shoulders are our biggest joints, so we tend to carry a lot of stress and tension in them. So from here, you're going to slowly roll back to face down, press up into a tabletop position, and you're just going to sit crisscross, just like we're in elementary school. So we're going to do it on both sides. So I'm starting with my left leg in front. You can start with your right, as long as you do both sides. So inhale, find some nice length in your spine, and exhale, fold forward as far as you can, and just hold that fold anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. And then from there, whichever leg is in front stays in front. You're going to extend the bottom leg, and then you're going to fold forward like that. You might find you really don't go anywhere near as far as you did when they were both under you. That's fine, because we're adding in a little hamstring stretch here, along with the hips. Once more, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. Now I started with the left leg in front. So my second time would be with the right leg in front, folding forward, 1 to 5 minutes. Now right leg still on top, folding forward. So this is easy seated position and a half easy seated position if you ever wanted to Google anything. Once you finish easy seated position and half easy seat on both sides, you would just extend your legs straight out in front of you. And very important in yoga, possibly the most important yoga pose, you would take a savasana for yourself, clear your mind a little bit, let gravity pull your weight down onto the mat, and see if you can feel any slight differences in your body from now compared to 15 minutes ago before you added just these slight small movements and stretches. If you wanted a little more here, you could always add a few more hip stretches. My personal favorite hip stretch when you're on the mat. It's either wind relieving pose, where you're hugging your knee up and around your ribs, not straight center, but trying to get your knee up into your armpit. And then another personal favorite here would be happy baby or half happy baby. You're going to grab your foot and either peace fingers around the big toe, the inside of the foot, or the outside of the foot. Okay. And you can do both sides or just one. And you're just going to try and push both knees into the armpit. Trying your best to keep your entire spine on the mat, so no bringing your hips up. So try to keep it as low as you can. Try to keep your legs perpendicular to the floor, so feet straight up, so no bending. And that's my short little stretch for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this yoga class.